Alright, I'm not any worse than AI, right? People ask AI all sorts of silly questions, and AI gets a lot of stuff wrong, and it just makes things up as they go. So, I'm not any worse than AI. I'm gonna ask myself the question, why we're here, why we exist. I'm just gonna free flow the thought. And if I'm wrong, it's not any worse than AI being wrong, okay? Why am I doing this? Because, just looking for answers, and I don't think there's any good answers out there. So let's do something revolutionary and figure it out. Why are we here? So the obvious answer comes to my mind: Lava is Boire, right? To serve your creator. To be an Eved, a slave. Someone who serves his master, to your creator. The obvious response to that would be, are you talking about? To serve my creator. My creator's perfect, doesn't need anything from me. Okay. So what if I switch the definition of creator to, instead of the absolute creator, the oneness that actually, is on top of everything? What about if it's, my higher self, to serve my higher self? That makes a little more sense, because my higher self does need something from me, right? God in his essence, the real God, the one true God, doesn't actually need me. Maybe, right? Most probably. It doesn't really seem like he could need me or anything. It would seem like that would be kfira, like a heresy, to say that the absolute perfect God who created us out of nothing needs me. What the fuck, what does he need me for? If he needed me, he wouldn't be perfect, right? But you could say my higher self needs me. My higher self was created for a purpose. It might not be known to me what that purpose is, but it would make sense to say that higher self needs me, my lowest dimensional self, vibrating down here, drunk on a Tuesday. It makes sense. You could say that, right? You could say my higher self needs me. So in that redefined terminology, which it might bother you how I could say that my higher self is my creator, but it wouldn't make sense. It makes sense, yeah? Not that I started the Big Bang, but that once the Big Bang started, the higher self is closer to the source than I am, so it can be said to be creating me. I could be said to be created from my higher source. Does that make sense? Right? Does that make sense? If there's a Big Bang started from nothing, caused by an infinite, perfect being that doesn't need me, in the chaining down of events till you get to me right here, this low vibrating dimensional self, right? It makes sense that somewhere above me, there's a higher self that can be called, in a way, my creator. Why is it my creator? Because I stem from it. Doesn't mean it's God, my creator. Doesn't mean my higher self is God. It's a God, maybe. To me, it's a God, maybe, but it's not the God, right? So I actually really like this thought, and I'm just going to go with it and say that, why are we here? Lavet is buried, to serve as a slave our creator. Who's our creator? Our higher self. Alright? Now our higher self would have the same relationship with the levels above that, which would be ultimately going up and up and up until you get to where? Do you eventually get to the infinite perfect one who created everything? Well, then the logic doesn't work anymore, because how can you say that we have to serve our highest creator if he doesn't need anything from us? Unless what he needs from us is for us to serve ourselves, meaning it's really all about us, right? And now that he created us, he didn't have to and didn't need to, but now that he did, whatever purpose was instilled in his creation should be fulfilled. Right? And if we fulfill that, that will satisfy his desire. But how does he have a desire, right? How do you have an infinite perfect one with a desire? How can you say the infinite perfect one had a desire in creating the world? I don't even know, bro. I don't even know. There's certain things you're not supposed to think about, right? Like what was before, what's above, what's below, what's after. I don't know. There's certain things you're not allowed to think about that can lead you go crazy or heresy, right? I don't know if this is one of them. I don't know. I'm just doing my best to try to think about life. Trying to figure out life here, bro. saying that I serve my higher self, which in turn serves God. But my problem with that is whatever reasoning or logic I would apply to, like, oh, I have a purpose, my higher self has a purpose, and I'm serving that purpose, right? Well, that higher self, you would say the same thing to its higher self until you get to the original, the creator. But I think the problem with my logic is that you can't actually apply anything to the creator. It doesn't matter how much sense logically it can make down here. You cannot apply those principles to the creator, the absolute creator, the one, the infinite, the Hashem, who created it all before any creation, right? He's way beyond any reasoning or logic, because reasoning or logic are constructs, right? Reasoning and logic are constructs. So with this, I think we resolved something. With this, I think we can say that, yes, I can apply logic, and it can make sense in my framework, in my world, about how to live and why I'm living and all that. But you cannot take it all the way up the chain and say that it applies to God. Meaning, even if you tell me, even if I tell you that I'm here to serve my higher self, and my higher self is here to serve its higher self, up, 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 eventually you're going to hit a point of no return, or where you can't apply that logic anymore. You can't apply that logic, because that logic only works in a world of logic, but there's a world before logic. Meaning logic is a construct. Logic is created. So it makes sense logically that it doesn't make sense logically beyond logic. Meaning once you move the realm beyond the realm of logic, which is just a creation, once you move beyond the creation, you get to the creator, logic doesn't apply. The creator doesn't exist in a world of a logical construct. Nice, bro. I'm glad to see we're all on the same page. I don't know, I spent like an hour this morning just trying to figure out what to do. If I should even wash my hands and say Modani and Kriya Shema, or like, what's the point, you know? So, alright, I think it makes sense to say we can have a logical analysis of this, even if you can't apply it back to God. Because God is beyond logic, okay? So that's fair enough, fair enough. So we can apply a logical conversation, even if you can't apply it all the way back up. So how far can we apply it? We could say like this, I'm here to serve my creator. Who's my creator? Not Hashem, God, because he doesn't need to be served. And he's beyond all logic, beyond all reasoning. But my higher self, yeah, my higher self, my neshama, my chai yichida, I don't know what it is. But why? Because I don't, why am I going there? Why don't you just say, oh, you're here to serve God? Because it really bothers me. How can you serve God? How can you serve God? An infinite one, right? He's perfect. What does he need from me, right? Well, so I'm switching it. I'm saying not, when it says to serve your creator, it's not serve God. It's serve your higher self, who is your creator because he's higher in the chain than you, right? Your higher self, whatever that means, it means that wherever you're existing right now in your dimensions, there's a self that's higher than you, right? How do I know that? I know that from the prophets. The prophets rose and they got to a higher level of consciousness. I know that from my own drug use. When I take certain drugs, I go to higher levels of consciousness, and it's not just a fake experience. And the way I know it's not a fake experience is because people all over the world experience the same experiences. And this has been going on for thousands of years. People have been using psychedelics to induce different states of consciousness. So I refuse to accept that, like, my current level of consciousness is my true level of consciousness, my true self, true identity. No, it's not. There's obviously a higher self. And that higher self is maybe the creator that we worship and we're here to serve as a slave. How can it be called your creator? Because it's higher up than you in the chain of events. Meaning if you believe in a Big Bang starting everything, right? Orchestrated by an infinite perfect God that's beyond logic. Well, there's levels, right? And the higher self can be said to be my creator. Because it's higher up, it's closer to the source. So it can be called my creator. Something created it, but it created me. And I don't think that's idolatrous thought. I think that's totally kosher thought. For now. I mean, we can always change our mind, you know? So, yeah. I think we're here to serve our higher self. What does our higher self want? I'm not sure. I'm really not. But it should be aligned with the Torah. It should be in alignment with the Torah. Although, nice, good. Good for the confirmation. Thanks. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol neh b'dvaro. Why should everything line up with Torah? And why is it not a problem to say that everything should line up with Torah even if I'm not fulfilling all the Torah? I'll tell you what. The second temple wasn't destroyed for them not following the Torah, right? And even in the first temple, it was only destroyed because they were murdering Shvichas Damim, Gilui Arayos, and Avodah Zarah. So they were murdering people, they were having illicit sexual relations, which doesn't mean having a girlfriend. According to what I understand from biblical law, you're allowed as many women as you want. You can marry them, you can make them a pilegesh, which is technically just a girlfriend, right? And then the other sin was Avodah Zarah, serving idols. Which today, I don't know how much idolatry really goes on, because,